Hi again, She Geek Dawn here. This time around, it's going to be a book review. So, I don't know that I've mentioned it before, but I am part of the Rubber City Book Posse, which is the Akron, Ohio contingent of Book Crossing. At least that's how we started out. Now we're just a group of friends who gets together and occasionally discusses books, but usually discusses other stuff. Anyway, we decided for 2021 we were going to do an RCBP reading challenge. So there's about 40 prompts on the list. Everything from reading a book that's in a genre new to you or a series that's new to you to reading a book set in Ohio or I'm trying to think of some of them. LGBT author, award-winning book, something that's been on your TBR or to be read pile the longest, a cover that you hate. Like, it's just, we kind of went eclectic and just kind of picked a little of everything. And so throughout 2021, we're basically catching up with each other, posting online what we're reading, and if it's part of the challenge, if it meets any of the prompts, that kind of thing. So my first book of the year and my first one on the challenge is Middlegame by Seanan McGuire. It does have a funky cover, and that's one of the reasons it's eye-catching. It's a Hand of Glory, in case you didn't know. It's pertinent to the story later on, not really a spoiler, so don't worry about it. Anyway, this book came out in 2019. It's been on my want-to-read list since then, and only about last fall, a few months ago, did I happen to come across it for free. This is actually the ARC advanced reader copy, in case you don't know what that means. These are the ones that come out for review purposes, for beta reads, for editing purposes. So that's what this one is, but it's virtually complete. Basically, this is just a slightly prior to publication version of it. And so yeah, it's from Tor Books, which is known for sci-fi, horror, that kind of stuff. That's what it is. So, let me read you the blurb on the back, so that way you'll know what it's about. So you can see the blurb, but I'm going to read it to you. Not exactly human, not entirely gods, not yet. Meet Roger. Skilled with words, languages come easily to him. He instinctively understands how the world works through the power of story. Meet Dodger, his twin. Numbers are her world, her obsession, her everything. All she understands, she does so through the power of math. Let me just interject that part scares me. I'm the language one because I don't understand anything through math. Roger and Dodger aren't exactly human, though they don't realize it. They aren't exactly gods either. Not entirely. Not yet. Meet Reed, skilled in the alchemical arts, like his progenitor before him. Reed created Dodger and her brother. He's not their father? Not quite. But he has a plan to raise the twins to the highest power, to ascend with them and claim their authority as his own. Godhood is attainable. Pray it isn't attained. It's actually a really good book. This is, well, at least this ARC version is 523 pages long. Unlike a lot of long novels, and I'd say long novels are anything over about 450, it doesn't feel that long, which is good. It's got fairy tale elements in terms of, well, it's about alchemy, so it's about turning one thing into something else. Alchemy has always been turning things into gold or turning things into ways to make money, basically. This is about turning a universal theory, or as they call it in here, doctrine, into flesh. That's what Roger and Dodger are. Like, they are literally the embodiments of these things. They don't know it, and they slowly discover it, and they discover what that means through the course of the novel. And it's like a real world fairy tale. The alchemists are a bit more like wizards and witches. There's villains. There's, the brother and sister are heroes. It's not a kid's book because it's got the brother and sister thing going on. Like, you do meet them as kids. Technically, you meet them just after they're born. But it goes through their entire life. There's also time travel elements. There's messing with reality elements. If you like fantasy set in the real world, this would be the sort of thing I would recommend. If you like high fantasy, this is not it. Okay, so this is more like a real world fantasy, but Seanan McGuire has a lot of books out there, and she's quite a storyteller. She's actually new to me. It's not that I hadn't heard of her. I'd never actually read any of her stuff before, but she's really good. She's a really good storyteller. She weaves the story well. And like I said, it does not feel like it's 500 pages long. It took me 2 weeks to read. I was not, reading it constantly. I'm not the fastest reader, but I'm also not a slow leisurely reader. So just under 2 weeks, I figured was good. And it, like I said, it's the first one of the year, first one for the Rubber City Book Posse challenge. And it hits about 5 things on that challenge, from single word titles to set in Ohio. Big chunk of this is set in Ohio. To author I haven't read before. And there's a couple other things. But if you're interested in what our challenge is and you want to kind of maybe do it for yourself, or if you're in the area and want to join the Book Posse or just track what we're up to on our Facebook page, I'll put the links in the description, and you can see the challenge, you can see our Facebook page, you can see what it's all about. And I hope you're reading, because that's a big deal. And especially with so many people still in quarantine and lockdown and all that kind of stuff, seriously, reading is the way to go right now. I hope all is well with you, and bye for now.